Okay, we are live.
Chris, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Mhm.
Do you own a muscle car?
Oh,
No,
Do-
I am like broke. I was going to come up with a joke. No.
I mean, if you're not driving American Muscle, you're not driving anything at all, guys. I don't know.
American. I love it when the dude's like, like with the car.
Now, Chris, how do you feel about hydraulics in someone's seat?
Holy
Oh
shit!
god, it's more than just hydraulics, right? It's NOS that they put under the
Yeah,
seat,
they
under the
like
chassis or something.
they at a 90-degree angle launched that jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so I will say this. Apparently, I did watch this movie as a
Oh,
kid
okay.
because I remembered scenes.
Yeah,
from
in
it.
the first episode, you said, yeah, you remember Too Fast, Too Furious more, but apparently not.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I definitely remember this movie more than the first one because I didn't remember shit from
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
first movie. I knew nothing. Like
Mhm.
about
I
it.
thought you knew Ja Rule.
No, dude, I thought Luda was there the entire time. I didn't know it
Mm-hmm.
starts with Ja Rule,
Mhm.
and
Starts
then
with Ja
Luda shows
Rule.
up in this one, and then Luda, we
Mm.
know Ludacris
He's
is
on the
gonna be
tram
in.
ride.
Yeah, he's on the tram ride, and he's gonna be part of the franchise for a while.
But Chris, do you remember the last thing you said right when the credits rolled?
No,
Oh, this movie? Oh.
Yeah, Ian.
what'd I say?
Right when the credits rolled and like the CG cars started driving away,
Yeah.
Chris looked at me and said, "I miss Ja Rule."
I was like, yeah, I miss Ja Rule
That's something
for the one
DMX has
scene he's
never
in the
said.
movie. Yeah.
You were like the opposite of DMX. You missed Ja Rule.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah,
man.
okay. So my prediction for this
Yes.
is we're not going to talk about it as long as the first movie.
We'll see. I don't think you're right. I don't think I have as much, but there's stuff. There's stuff to get into.
There's things here.
Yeah, there is.
Okay. So we are back. We did not do an episode for the end of the month last. Well, yeah, at the end of the month we did not do an episode. That was for February. It was just what a crazy
Nutty
set of weeks.
Yeah.
None of our schedules lined up. We were all super busy. Me and Nick just got back in town.
Literally.
Like this morning, technically, like at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
So things are weird. I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna get it out.
I'm having a blast.
Gonna be good. Yeah. And then we gotta decide what movie we're doing at the end of the month, which by the way, there is a movie coming out at the end of the month that I think should take priority.
Oh, okay. I'd love to hear. Okay. I'm interested to hear your okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think you'll like it, Ian, but we're gonna
Really? Wait, I thought Ian liked Dune.
No, oh shit, yeah, we could do Dune. I don't know. I don't feel like I have a lot to say.
No,
I did do Dune, and hey, hot take, it was good.
It's good.
It was good.
I like it more than the first one. I don't think I'm like crazy about it.
No, me neither.
As a lot of people are.
I think that the thing I took most away from it was still the visual storytelling above everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great shots and visuals in there. Yeah, it's just like it's weird for two movies to be all set up.
Yeah. I mean,
it's 5 hours of setup.
It's 5 hours of setup for something. Well, and so the Bene Gesserit, the witchy nuns, that's going to be a 10-episode show for HBO.
Is that really? Is that
next
true?
year?
I haven't heard about that.
That shit's gonna be more back. That's gonna be set during the AI war 10,000 years before Dune.
That's the one his son wrote, right?
Yes, that is not a Frank Herbert. That is a Justin Herbert.
So all I know about the son from other writer friends, and listen, I haven't read Dune. I haven't read his stuff.
Right.
So who am I to make a past judgment? but I
Sure.
have heard his stuff is not as good
As
as the
Dad.
original dude. Yeah, as
Sure.
Dad.
I will
Yeah.
say, Chris,
Mhm.
having read a few of the spin-off stuff, and
Yeah.
then and Dune, and knowing general taste.
Yeah, that's true.
with
You've
you,
read it all. Yeah.
yeah, you wouldn't like his writing. I don't think you
Okay.
would.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
So I remember that bit. You told me that I wouldn't like.
you
his
wouldn't like
style.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you would. You know what it is? It's
What?
you would feel with his writing the way I feel about audiobooks sometimes, where
Mhm.
it feels like they're too into what they're saying.
Yeah.
It feels like
Uh,
sometimes like they're enjoying describing to you, and I'm just like, well, what happened then? Tell me what the fuck happened? Like, just say it. Like, if he's in water, he's in water. Like,
you ever
like-
read? Oh my god! I know we're supposed to be talking about Too Fast and Furious. That's just two things.
We'll
Right?
get-
This is good. This is good.
We'll
Yeah.
get there. Yeah.
What is it? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Jules Verne. Yeah.
Jules Verne. So I read that as like elementary school.
Mhm.
Which kudos to that, Chris, for sitting down and reading that book.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could do it today.
Mm-hmm.
Where I remember the intro so vividly,
Mhm.
or the introduction, like someone wrote
Mhm.
a forward, right?
Right.
I forget what version it was. I bought it at Scholastic Book Fair. It was a paperback. It was not the pictures,
Mhm.
the pictured version that's condensed. All right.
Right.
I read
Right.
the full. I read the fucking thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I remember in the forward, the person wrote that for the first time of any book that I can think, or for any book that I love,
Mhm.
it pains me to say this, but I do think you can skip large chunks of this book. Not because necessarily it's poorly written, but because
Mhm.
there are times where he's just listing fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sea life.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
as a kid who was super into marine biology, again, I think I mentioned this, like I
Mm.
was on a marine biology thing all the way
Yeah.
before like, no, I like writing because I grew up
Right.
hate money. And then so I was into it. So I would look
Mhm.
up shit. So that's great
Yeah.
for a kid who's
Mhm.
like, yeah, I just want to learn things about fish. I got all the time in the fucking world right now.
Mhm.
If I was an adult, I'd agree with that man and go like, yeah, dude. At some points, he is just describing a bunch of fish. If you can just get like a good image in your head, if you're not into
Mhm.
all that, that's fine. That is not the point of the book.
Yeah.
Like that you're getting
Yes.
to.
Yes.
So I get that. I'm having a moment. I started the first chapter of Motorin after I did all the pre-reading,
Mhm.
all the intros and the history,
Mhm.
because that fascinated me.
Mhm.
And that style writing. He's in character when he's writing it. David R. Bunch,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
it's a character in the story telling you the introduction to the story, which is crazy. So it's all bombastic and into this like style world to get you into it,
Mhm.
and it's a little exhausting, but in a good way because the prose is really fucking good.
Yeah.
But it is like I have to take a break in between
Yeah.
each of these chapters because
I
it's
told you, yeah.
dense and he is into it. Like this character
Yeah.
is selling you on this horrible, 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 horrible future and horrible
Mhm.
viewpoints that they have.
Yeah. Unrelatable.
Yeah, so it's really it's great as like a character. It's something me and you, Ian, would be super into because it's all character
Yes.
study.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like, but it is exhausting to some degree. So I do take little breaks, which
That's
means
fair.
that's going to be a
Yeah.
hard book to get through.
Well, and I don't think every novel's meant to be burned through. You know,
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. No.
there are some books
No.
that are, you know what, you sit with that for a few weeks, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe even.
I have that
really-
thing
I
with
mean-
Raymond Carver,
Mm.
where I finish a Raymond Carver short story, and I
Mhm.
just keep thinking about it, which is why I like him so much.
Yeah.
Even though I have collections and like I want to keep going through them, and they're not long reads, and I would even argue I don't even think they're that tough to necessarily get through
Mhm.
because they
Mhm.
really do sound like and feel like people.
Yeah.
But it is the thing of like you're there's so much fucking info in between each line
Yeah.
that you
Yes.
just sit there for a little bit, like really thinking about why write this? What is
Yeah, I think
what is
that's
this
what
getting
helped
at?
me get through a lot of that Raymond Carver stuff was a lot of the audiobook. Like that
Oh, yeah.
one time he did his own reading of what we talk about when we talk about love.
Yeah, I would
Um,
like to hear that because that's the one that's his most popular one. That's the one I'm not that into.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I think
But then I
like
think about the mailman one all the time, so it's whatever.
yeah, because
Mhm.
usually what's read like is like Cathedral and Chef's
Yeah.
Chef's Room and
Yeah,
Chef's
Chef
House.
Shrooms
Rather.
especially is like really
Mm.
well like
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like it really helped having the author read it. Kind of like with Neil Gaiman, like actually read and like
yeah, and if they're
and
like a really good orator too.
Yeah.
see where the focus is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I wonder with Motoran was like where he would emphasize like what he. I feel like it'd be something like someone would say out loud. You know.
Yeah. However, if I'm really getting the grasp on who that person is, like in the
Mhm.
at least according to the intro, I
Mhm.
feel like he wouldn't read it out loud because he feels like he keeps it so wrapped up in his own head.
Mm.
And he is part of the philosophy of what was that philosophy they put down? That he seems to be that kind of guy of like live your life stringent and become immoral on the page, like to express like horrors on the page.
Yeah.
So I don't think that would be my guess is that he wouldn't read it out loud. He wouldn't be a narrator.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong. I don't know the dude.
I think no, I just think it'd be fun like to just hear like what he's trying to like at least
Where
just
he
to
would
hear,
put
like,
emphasis on.
yeah.
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 In general, like just like a general thing. I totally get it and I totally agree like for what Motoran is and what it becomes. I
Yeah.
think like I do agree with Ian of like you don't always have to
No,
you don't always have to
absolutely
like
not.
sprint through it. I was like that with Dune actually. I actually like went a couple chapters.
Really.
Mhm.
Even if I had like extra time. Yeah, I think it was just like because there's a lot of world building stuff to take into account.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
I think by like Messiah, I was like I need to like take a break or like a day or two every couple chapters because
Yeah.
there's a lot. It's a lot to think about.
Yes.
And I think like you know in terms of character studies, I thought like with 1Q84, I think that was also another one where I had to take breaks between chapters.
Yeah, a
'cause
lot
it's
of
pretty.
Murakami's like that. It becomes like really easy to read until it doesn't.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah,
Until he decides
absolutely.
to get ethereal, like or like
Yeah.
philosophical on you.
Yeah, I remember like Ian talked about like one of the biggest things with 1Q84 that it felt like the most indulgent of
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've heard. I haven't read
Murakami's
it yet.
productions. I didn't think it was that bad. But I get it. I
I
totally
think
get
that
it. Like
essay on
especially
running is the most indulgent, but
I
I think
think
it's
it is.
supposed to be.
I would argue that way more than 1Q84. I
Yeah.
think like
But that's
I
not. But
agree.
that's different. It's not fiction. It's
Yeah, no,
it's prose.
it's just
Yeah.
him. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, because the only thing I'll say at 1Q84 is like, I get that because those long descriptors happen before or after a huge event,
Yeah.
and the
Mhm.
idea is like it's supposed to break from the tension.
Mm.
Right.
But I imagine if you're so hooked on what just happened and you want to know what happens next, you're now being stuck with a character describing taking a bath and having like thoughts of someone from childhood, and then you're like you're reading through, you're like, okay, but what about the other murder? What about him? What about him? What like
Yeah.
I totally
Yeah.
get it. Like
That's me. It's me. You're
Yeah.
describing me exactly.
me.
Yeah.
oh, okay, well that murder. Oh, what about him? Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
what about
the guy with the mask. Oh, what about him? Like,
Get to it. Get
to it.
there.
Hurry up,
Get
tell
there,
me
guy.
if he's
should
gonna
be a-
inject Osido that guy with the
Yeah.
Nas.
There should be a moment in books where we do that. We start off with a murder or multiple murders, and we only explore one. And then we get Ian going, "What happened to the others?" And then the last page is just someone going, "Oh, murders happen all the time. We don't necessarily find out what happens." And then
There you go.
the book ends.
You know how many murders get solved? fewer than half.
Like
It's
fewer
not
than
that-
half.
Yeah.
It'd be great if
It's
you have
either
a
they solve
chapter
it within
and
the first 48 hours or they don't at all.
Yep.
you should have like a setup to a reveal, and then the next chapter is a QR code, and then you scan the QR code, and it's the author
I always
giving
wanted to
his
do a QR
acknowledgement.
code thing, yeah.
Oh my
I think
God.
it's funny. I think QR codes are funny. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I still
okay.
Okay, go ahead. We do have to get back on this. I am going to
I
make
was-
sure this podcast is shorter than.
I was going to say, I have a segue straight back to Too Fast, Too Furious with my one last not Too Fast, Too Furious thought.
Got it.
Just to throw out. Just another movie I'm putting on the list, but I wanted to suggest to you guys at some point maybe to talk about.
Yeah.
I saw the comedian Julio Torres's new magical realism film with Tilda Swinton and RZA.
Oh,
and
I heard about that. Yeah,
it's called.
can't wait
The
to
Public-
ask for a ticket to that at the movie
Right?
theater.
It's actually really it's a really good
It looks
picture.
good.
And
It looks up my alley, man. Like
yeah. If
it's
you're the kind of person who enjoyed Buñuel, if you're the kind of person who enjoys that Latin American magical realism of the 20th century,
that
it
shit,
is
yeah.
steeped in it, awash in it.
yeah, and I love that.
The visual of people, rather than getting deported, they just kind of fade away, just out of the frame that they're in. It's good stuff. Good stuff, guys.
Oh yeah. Well, now that we're talking about movies again,
yes.
we can get into the Too Fast and Furious part of our year of the Fast and Furious movies.
The year of the Fast and the
This
Furious.
is the second one, Too Fast, Too Furious. What did we know about the movie before going in our rising action?
It turns out I knew nothing. Absolutely
Okay.
nothing. Whatever. Nothing. Whatever. I within the
Listen,
first
it's a
5
franchise you've been ignoring, Ian,
minutes,
and like it's popular. It has 10 fucking movies and like a ride and
So here's how ignorant I was just for the things I didn't know. So 10 minutes into the movie, they're not in LA in this one.
no,
Okay,
why would he still be in LA?
Why is he still doing car racing? Why didn't he?
Because you can't get it out of you, Ian. You can't get out of your blood. It is in you. When you have that high, you keep chasing it, Ian.
When you have the cookout with family,
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Yeah, so there's no like real barbecue scene in this one. I think it's just are we gonna count the poker table and when they're playing like dominoes?
That's about as
like-
close as it gets.
That's as close as it gets, right?
Yeah.
Also,
But no food is served.
No food is served, really. And hey, and then like 30 minutes into it, I started thinking, I don't think Vin Diesel's in this movie at all.
No.
Oh no!
No.
Huh.
Remember, we talked
No.
about Paul Walker is the main character
I
up
know,
until
I
he's
know.
not for a very obvious reason.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, I didn't know nothing. I was surprised at every turn. It was delightful. What about you guys?
Nick, what did you know about the movie before going in?
Well, I knew about Luda. I knew.
I knew about Ludo.
So okay, it's kind of jarring because like I'm gonna date this podcast immediately, but I knew. I guess like before rewatching it, second time, I recently saw like a bunch of news and documentaries about like the Aoki family, and like
Okay.
with
Yeah,
with
that was so
Steve
weird
and,
when you
like-
were bringing it up to me. Like, I knew nothing about that.
yeah, and how like Devon Aoki, who's in the film,
Mhm.
Fast and Furious, she essentially like that was one of her last roles in film, and apparently the reason it was one of the major, well, there's a bunch of, but the major reason is that essentially, her and the very famous DJ Aoki, went on pretty much a
Whoops.
hunt to find every like secret family their father had, because their father was CEO of Benihana's, the restaurant.
Oh,
So,
Okay.
so yeah, and like so knowing all that and then rewatching, I was like, oh wow, it's kind of crazy. Like, besides that, like I knew the games for Too Fast and Furious,
Oh wow, I forgot. Yeah,
all the cars and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's okay. Like it was the same company that was doing like all those. It started the Fast and Furious spinoffs, but before that they did like Need for Speed and all that. It was like when EA was like pumping them out. But yeah. So besides that, the rat scene, obviously,
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
yeah.
yeah.
more key moments than like the overall story. Yeah, I guess that would be it. Like in terms of blind playthrough, watch through. Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. Okay, so before, I knew the game. I don't remember
Okay.
much of it. I know I played it at some point. I knew about the rat scene because that's like a core memory I have as a child of just walking into like my grandma's room with a bunch of family is there and that scene's happening.
Mm.
I remember Ejectocito because we all thought that was the funniest joke in the world, and we would be quoted very much in the thing.
Mhm.
I remember. I think that's it, man. Like I don't remember too much. Like I said, Luda.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't remember much about this movie. Boran. So, with that in mind,
Mhm.
let us go into the climax of the movie
For sure.
where we discuss the actual picture. So some quick facts
Mhm.
about it. Thank you. I'm sourcing Wikipedia and IMDb. I'm sure there are better sources, but here we are. Too Fast and Furious came out in 2003.
Okay.
PG-13. So 2 years after
Mhm.
The Fast and the Furious.
Mhm.
It's different director, right? And it feels like it.
Mm.
When you're
Oh,
watching
well, my first thought when within the first 5 minutes is, oh, it's Power Rangers now. We're
Yeah.
doing, we're
They're
doing,
toys.
yes.
You're watching action figures and toys. Like,
Yeah.
Well, this director did what we know as Shaft
Oh,
and Boys in the Hood.
I was about to. Okay, there's a scene in there that I was gonna say looks like the same fucking shot from Boys in the Hood, and I thought it was just a send up.
Yeah.
No, it's the man himself, John Singleton.
Yeah. Well, I mean, later. I mean, a few years later, he'd do like Four Brothers. I mean, that's the only thing.
Oh, he's the writer for Boys in the Hood, though. He's not the director.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but he probably still like saw the scene. Oh no, never mind. No, he is the director. Okay, I don't know why it's got listed as just a writer, but he is the director.
Yeah.
He directed Four Brothers. You remember when that movie came out?
ages ago. I remember it coming out. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Baby Boy.
Oh no.
That's
Oh,
where.
yeah.
Oh my god, that is where he finds Tyrese Gibson.
Oh, okay.
To be in this movie, which is 1 year prior.
Okay.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. It was Baby Boy. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Now to his credit, I think actually Tyrese Gibson is like really good in this movie. Really charming.
It was great.
Yeah.
He's great. There are moments where I think Paul Walker looks like he's just reading off a cue card.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I was like surprised.
What was God, Nick? Do you remember the scene? Was
That
it when
light-skinned
they're about to race the American Muscle cars?
Yeah.
In the tag team race where he reads a line and I'm like, what? Did they just hold that right in front of you, Paul Walker? Like, what is
Oh yeah, because he was like still and he was like,
what was that
That's what
delivery?
I'm
It was so different from everything
Yeah.
else. Like,
like-
it makes me wonder.
That
But
could
yeah,
have
okay.
reshoot.
So
That could have...
there's
Paul,
some
sit
facts.
here.
Different
Mm.
director. The screenplay is different. It's by
Mhm.
Michael Brandt, Derek Haas versus Gary Scott Thompson,
Mm.
who I think wrote that GQ article,
Okay.
and David Ayer, who
Mhm.
wrote fucking Training Day.
That's
in
right.
The first movie. I forget about that.
Yeah.
So Too Fast and Furious is it's all different except maybe Paul Walker.
Yeah.
And
And he's in Four Brothers.
And he's in Four Brothers.
Paul Walker or Tyrese Gibson?
No, Tyrese.
Okay, I believe it. So him and John Singleton he likes working with John Singleton.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of cool though, because like anytime you have a reoccurring director and actor partnership, usually is a good sign for the
Yes.
director.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked Tyrese and when he was in like Death Race. That was pretty cool.
Fuck, dude, I haven't thought about Death Race.
In a
Yeah,
minute.
he's Machine Gun Joe.
Sick. Okay. So Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yep.
So the
Are we-
opening race, we're starting out even more heightened than the first movie already. Like,
Yeah.
this first race is setting a tone of not. We said toys, like it is very toyified, but it's also like, I mean, like we immediately have a car leapfrog another car. It's already more
Bigger
out
stuff.
there than
yeah.
yeah.
And it's cool. I will say, to the credit of this movie, I think it's really cool that there's a lot of stuff. It is fun that there's a lot of stuff in this first race that shows up in the very
Yes.
last action sequences
Mhm.
that all kind of pay off. So,
Mm.
like, probably this first scene was may have been the last shot type deal.
Oh
Mm.
yeah, could be.
Luda, and get your quick introduction to Luda. Paul Walker's just there in Miami. I mean, it's safe to assume he wasn't going to stay in LA.
Yeah.
Or the fact that he wasn't caught is crazy. We just have to assume he outdrove them in his car,
Mhm.
Well, even
couldn't
when the
be
feds find him,
which
they're
was
not
quick.
super.
I couldn't
Which
believe how
super quick.
fast that was. It's the second like set that.
Yeah, because in the first one, it's like, oh, like they checked on the reader and then they shout into the crowd.
Yeah.
But in 2, they just show up. Like,
They show up and shoot him with this crazy fucking X-Men weapon.
Holy
that-
shit! I'm so glad. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay. What is this fucking thing? Do we know
Agent
if it's
Shield.
real?
yeah.
It's not. It's not fucking real.
Did you look it up? Do we know? Do we know? That's
Chris?
real.
There's such thing as a recurring device.
What is that gonna be in the future movies? Just this fucking okay. So are we doing a thing like this world is so riddled with fast
Car
driving and fast cars that the police now have weapons to only take down cars
That's how
without
I
harming the
interpret.
driver?
Well, the economy is so car focused that they will color the streetlights to match the car
That's right.
colors of the cars that race there.
What series do you think this is?
I know.
Chris?
No, but
What
hang
you
on.
asked?
Remember, this is start as a series, but we're already getting to like things. If you're telling me this fucking grappling hook thing, or not a grappling hook because there's not a rope attached, it's just this projectile
Claw.
Projectile claw.
That-
Yeah, like that.
that like latches onto your car and this. Like, it's such a crazy fucking design compared to them
It's out of no,
using
yeah,
guns.
in 2003 Miami. Yeah.
Yeah. That the MPD.
Claw gun. I'm looking it
They-
up.
Claw gun.
Well, because the technology.
Oh, thank you,
to
Fast and
actually
Furious
shut-
fandoms. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's right.
I was going to say the
On the
technology
wiki.
to remotely shut off a car. I don't
Yeah.
know that it was existing yet. That
Okay.
was still to be invented, I think. But like you can do it now. Like your dealership can shut your car off for not making payments nowadays
Yeah.
with tech. But
Mm-hmm.
there
Which is fucking bullshit. I think that's bullshit.
That's
is
that's scary.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This Acme-esque
It's a fictional
Wile E.
weapon.
Coyote.
Mm-hmm. Fictional weapon.
Fictional weapon created specifically for Too Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that we don't have.
According
Are
to John,
hindering-
and this is according to the fandom wiki, so who fucking knows that most of these things are hit or miss with whether or not they're good.
True.
And most of the time they're not. But according to this, the director John Singleton, according to John Singleton, the weapon was assumed to be a legitimate weapon by the audience, which blows my fucking mind because that thing is so goddamn crazy.
That's crazy. Actually, that's fucking crazy.
It's like,
It's real. Look at it. Yeah, that's what cops are gonna have. Like,
and I don't know why it stands out so much in this
Fucking
movie
look
of
at
cars and stunts that this weapon.
just fucking EMT like.
Do you
insane.
think? Okay, I'm gonna ask you, ask
Yep.
both of you as
Mhm.
people who have written stuff. Do
Yeah.
you think this weapon was
Mhm.
created so that they have a way to slow down the cars without hurting people, so that you can get moments of like, we can stop the car without crashes, essentially.
I mean, I kind of do think because they couldn't justify a reason why Paul Walker
Would slow down.
is going to stop for the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
In
Yeah.
fact, there are moments in this movie where he is purposely like playing chicken with
Mhm.
other drivers,
Twice.
so that twice, to show that no, he's not going to slow down, even if
Yeah.
it means a crash.
Yes.
He'll keep
Yeah.
going. So like, we need a thing.
Mhm.
That weapon is so goddamn crazy, dude. It's like
banana.
it's
Yeah.
fucking wild.
It's
Mhm.
wild.
What the fuck? Okay, so and then it stopped. Yeah, they get. It's very reminiscent of the first one, but instead the cop chase scene is very short compared to the rest, where it's like a good
Yeah.
chunk of the first movie.
Yeah.
You get the moment.
This
You get the
movie.
moment of them scattering.
Mhm.
You get the jump, which was a really cool stunt and race.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no. So how'd you all compare it, especially to the first scene, the first introduction of driving in
Yeah.
the Fast and the Furious? How'd you
Mhm.
all feel about this?
What do you think, Nick? Oh.
I was gonna say, like, I think I do agree with the overall, like, having the first one be the most grounded,
Mhm.
but I do think 2 is the
Great.
most dynamic in terms of like
Mhm.
you have all these character things happening,
Mhm.
and it's more
Okay.
like more absurd. I think like the absurdity,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but yeah, like I guess comparing the two, I definitely prefer ones, but I mean I still enjoy 2. I think it's still pretty entertaining.
Yeah, the first scene. I want to agree with you. I like the first. The first one feels like car culture that we know today.
Yeah.
Yes.
The second one is so kind of like it's almost cartoony. The way
Yep.
everyone's dressed and moves, and
If you watch like the race scenes, it's excuse me, so stylized.
yeah,
Like there's
a lot more sense.
there's two kinds of shots in this. There's profile shots where you get the scenery passing by at like
Yeah.
cartoon anime flash speed,
Mhm.
or you get first person shots where everything turns into Rainbow Road. Like, oh, the
Yeah.
nose is so strong, I can't see straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still a cool race, that first one, I think.
Yeah.
And does establish certain characters.
Mm.
Although we never see the guy who crashes again, so we can safely assume he died. And
He
that
definitely.
and that the person who didn't jump the guy, because he survives at the end,
Yes.
was smart not to make that jump, because everyone's car gets fucked. Like
I don't want to jump around too much, but I think the next big race we get is Paul Walker racing to get the job. He has to find a Ferrari for the rich dude.
Ferrari, and get the package from the Ferrari.
And they just murder people on the road.
Dude, when that truck thing is happening, that part's pretty rad because of how fucking like the escalation.
Yeah.
Where he's just fucking ping-ponging against the tires.
Yes.
And
yes.
then, my god, and once the truck runs, you go, oh my god, he died. Like that is
killed. Like he is kablooey.
It was so gnarly. It was so gnarly looking.
It was. Because when you're watching that specific, I'm so glad you picked up the exact guy I'm talking about. He swings under the 18-wheeler, and he's like watching these tires eat his car before he gets squished. And but up to that moment, me as an audience member, I was like, well, this is not the kind of movie where they just murder a dude by crushing. He's gonna get out. Oh no! Oh no!
Fucking it's so brutal how he fucking dies, dude. Like it is wild. That was the one I was like, man, if they showed any blood, this wouldn't be like a PG-13 thing. This and like the rat scene, right, could have been like easily
Yeah.
shot into an R.
Yeah.
If something come out. Okay, but before we get to that, right, he
Yes.
finds Tyrese Gibson. Oh my god, I'm forgetting his name in the movie. Just because now
Rome.
I know from Baby Boy.
Rome. Yeah.
It's Rome.
It's Rome. Roman. Yeah, Rome. We're Rome. They find Rome in Barstow, which me and Nick actually know Barstow pretty well. So that demolition derby.
Yes.
Which is shot really cool up until they do that weird panoramic shot from the mountains and the
It's clearly cartoon cars down there.
yeah, so it probably played better back in the day with less high def. But on my TV, I'm like, wow, those look like little computer cars just moving like ants.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the actual demolition was pretty cool because you actually get to see stuff that's not just driving when it comes to cars or like racing.
Yeah.
So I wish there was a little bit more of that. That's fine. I like the fight that Paul Walker and Roman get into because it looks real. Like that doesn't look like a really nice choreographed dance. It looks like two dudes like
Oh yeah.
trying to wail on each other while also not trying to get hurt themselves.
Exactly.
Yes. So I really dig that. I actually dug that like little scuffle.
And
okay.
I was going to say a great introduction to who's essentially our co-pilot, our buddy in the buddy part of this film. You know.
Yeah, he's in it. It's a tough sell over Vin Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you grow to really like love that whole crew.
Yes.
On Roman, but I think they do a good job with him.
Yeah.
They give you a lot. They tell you a lot. Mm-hmm. Kind of give him, and he's definitely like you get like these moments of like comedy with him.
Yes,
that are really good. But I know he is a good actor.
Oh yeah,
he sells that character really well.
He's pulling a lot of weight for the momentum of the movie. I'd say.
Yeah. Especially, I would argue he's more charismatic than Paul Walker in this movie. At least.
Paul's a little checked out, as you guys alluded to.
Yeah, it's weird, especially after the first one, because the first one I feel like he's really trying, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
I wonder how much of like when the second one came out, it was a money grab. Because the first one.
I mean, yeah.
How much does it feel like? I mean, it probably was. Again, the only way to know is if we were following when it happened. Unless I can maybe pull up some articles from time for the next podcast. That might be interesting.
I'm curious if this was, you know, if we had already begun the trend of, that did good numbers. Let's sign them on for 3 pictures more or something like that. Like that may be a demotivator of I got 3 more movies.
Yeah, but again, a whole different writer and director, so it's obviously like a universal thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, how'd you all feel about when the cops like catch him with the crazy harpoon gun, and and it's just like he gets in jail, and I immediately told Nick, this right here should be the end of Paul Walker. Because he was caught, like, of his character, and the rap sheet would have been. But it's obviously like we need you for another job because we know no one else.
We need you to get
does cars.
We need you to get the guy from Good Will Hunting that was in the crew, Matt Damon's crew. But it turns out he wasn't a ginger. He was Colombian.
Oh my god! The whole time.
Oh my god!
Turns out he was a Colombian drug lord.
Yeah,
in Miami.
So with the police chief, he's got a lot more like comedic bits going on than just a straight like. Okay, so that's gonna bring me to something here. This movie is not at all like, or very much less so, a classic bad cop like movie, like corrupt cop movie. Which
yes.
very not that. This is so in a sense you could argue it's coming into its own, but I mean we'll have to see with the next view. Although I would argue
Yeah.
maybe not, knowing Tokyo Drift, but I would have to see with Fast Forward. So they're trying to establish its own thing. Well, there's still like references to other car stuff. I mean, we have the Dukes of Hazzard jump at the end, which is awesome when it happens. Where I'm like, wow, that is the shot from Dukes of Hazzard. That's like the angle. As you see it like careening from like a downward
into the boat.
Yeah. Oh, that super is, yeah.
Yeah. So it's weird, but I mean, like, it's such a contrivance just to have the movie happen.
Yeah.
That I feel like we're doing it again, huh? And like, I don't know. I don't know. I felt maybe it was too, but maybe keeping it fast like doesn't let you dwell on that too much.
Mm-hmm.
The pacing, excuse me, the pacing is as good, I'd say, as the first one. It keeps it moving. It
Really?
if anything, it feels more hectic than the last one. Even
I would argue that. There's a shot. There's a scene that I rewound and like counted on my fingers how long it was. It's the moment where they're coming up with the plan for the end sequence, and they talk to Luda, and then they're crossing a bridge. That scene where they're walking on the bridge, showing you this is where it's going to happen, is 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Or 10 Mississippis, according to my own count. It is so short, and it felt so crazy that it kind of just happens to establish. So people aren't confused when they get to the thing. Yes.
Here's the bit. Here's what you need to. Well, and there's also so many shots in, as you say, the relay drag race and the final money drop race, where it's just like 4 angles on the interior of the car.
Yeah,
and we cut.
Yes.
To different sides of Paul Walker driving, and then we cut to Ludacris driving, and then we just kind of cycle through these. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. So, and then we get the love interest for Paul Walker, which I guess if he had to abandon Vin Diesel's sister from the last, she's gone. With my god,
Eva Mendes?
Eva Mendes, is that true?
So. Yeah, from the other guys, yeah.
Yes, Eva Mendes. I just want to make sure I got her name right. they talk like only twice in that movie before she's at like his houseboat going, they're gonna fucking murder you, like type deal.
Yeah, but Chris.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, but Chris.
Yes.
You understand.
Fast cars.
Eva Mendes. Oh.
I don't understand about Eva. That's Eva Mendes. That's just like. No, but I mean her.
I know. Exactly,
like I get why Paul Walker's character.
Well, why does she care? Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, why is she like, this dude gonna blow gonna blow my cover? Just
he's the best at cars. That's why
he's so good at cars. He's carring all over the place.
He's carring all over, and it makes my womanly urges out of control. That's
right.
What the movie's saying, I think. Yeah.
That's what the movie's getting at.
Yeah,
it's so weird. But Nick, good.
No, I wasn't. I was gonna say like the whole mansion thing is pretty crazy because like, well, first off, that mansion used to be Sylvester Stallone's.
Is that true?
Yeah, that used to be one of like the crazy ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then like second, that whole sequence, like the way it introduced to the villain, to Hauser's character, with Eva, and then like it's the one with like the painting turns into a screen. So
no, it's so much dumber than that, Nick. It's like it's one of those holders for a painting at like an auction.
Oh, but it changed.
It's really nice, but they just put a TV on it.
Yeah,
and I think that's so funny. Like I want to do that. Yeah. I want to get one, like a stand like that. That's really
Yeah.
just Garnet, like meant to display art or like a card to tell you, hey, this is a fancy event, but just
Right.
put a fucking TV on it. And like,
Mm.
I thought it was hilarious. I think that thing was. I don't know why I thought it was so fucking funny compared
That
to
was great.
like a bunch of other things.
Uh,
Okay, so before we talk about like the last action sequences of this movie, I want to talk about how do we feel about the characters compared to the last one, especially because the last one you have to grow to like them.
yeah.
In it, except for maybe German nightclub funboy, whose name I still haven't learned. How do we feel? How do we feel about Luda, Suki, Roman, and the dude who is working on the car? Fucking the bald guy.
Best mechanic in all
They're-
Miami.
Man.
Yeah, Paul Walker's mechanic.
They're kind of there. Like they're not.
Yeah.
Luda has
guy
a
just
little
there
bit.
for me.
Luda and Suki have a little bit more
Luda-
going on, but
Yeah, I think because like they're more involved at the end, but everyone else is kind of there. Again, this is compared to like fucking in one where Jesse gets gunned down and it's like a huge
Yeah,
thing.
Jesse's whole story like is crazy.
Yeah,
With that whole crew, and it's so weird because in that first movie we talked about how like in a franchise we know about family, you grow to not like them like within the first like third of the movie.
Yep.
Because they fucking abandoned Vin Diesel to die, like essentially. And it's weird, but you do grow to like him at the end. It's fucking that movie's wild. I do agree. I think this is a weaker group overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
Just-
Roman being the standout,
Mhm.
he's no Vin Diesel, but he's not trying to be type deal. You
No.
know,
Mhm.
it's more of just the rogue guy being pulled.
I mean,
He's
Roman-
Paul Walker making things right
Mhm.
after like Vin Diesel's whole thing to make sure he's like righting his wrongs.
Mhm.
So
And-
it's weird. How do you feel? How do you feel, Ian, about these?
I
characters?
I was just gonna say, like, I basically agree with you guys. I think Roman has something more concrete and clear of,
Mhm.
you know, he's really hung up on the time he lost in jail. So now
Which I would be.
Yeah, same. So now he's
Yeah.
kind of like about living for himself.
Yeah.
And like that makes an interesting character for us to follow throughout the movie where
Yeah.
but I think they could have done a little bit more for that. There's essentially like the foil of he's living for Rome's living for himself because he's done, you know, taking the fall for other people. He's done fucking around like that, and
Yeah.
and then Paul is
Well,
trying to make up for it.
but then he admits. Sorry, Ian, to cut you off, but
Yeah.
he does admit like it was his own fault for getting in jail.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
kind of the way I interpret it, right? And I do,
Mhm.
and I want to get back to your point because I do agree. I think they could
Sure.
have planned it out more, planned it out better, and give him more like things to kind of show the progress. Because it really just seems like, hey, I had a good time. That means I want to live life, and like versus, he's living for himself. You're right.
Yeah.
But he admits that he went to jail for himself. We still don't even really know why that he goes to jail. I don't think they named the crime, right?
Eva Mendes tells us we did a background check on Rome. He's clean. I mean, he's dirty, but
Yeah.
clean enough.
But he's clean
So,
enough, so he's not a
Whatever
cop.
that means.
Whatever
like-
the fuck that means, because they don't get into it.
Yes.
So we just have what he says, and their Paul Walker like thing. So he says it was selfish. So it's more of like supposed to be a thing of now that he's found people, like he wants it's living with others,
Yes.
for others as
Yeah.
well. Which I guess that's why we're getting to think of like they're going to start a car shop at the end.
Being a part of
I-
a team, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
that could have been explored a little bit better
Clearer.
because
certainly.
because I agree with you. It seems like living for himself seems to be the way to go. Like,
Mm.
Yeah.
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 And like his really standout moments for me are the moments where he's just like, I stole a cigar cutter, I'm gonna eat whatever the fuck I want because prison food's terrible, I'm gonna
Yeah.
like those are clear character moments where I'm like, all right, I get what Roman's about, I'm okay, sure.
Yeah. I thought you had 12 or 13 cigar. I love the way he delivers that fucking line. It's so fucking funny. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
just like, listen, man, I know I'm in trouble, but come on, you have a bunch of so fucking like, what are you doing, dude?
Yes.
Oh,
The
But
easy route here is to say my bad, or to give the whole thing. It's so funny. It's
it's a,
no, he's great. He's got great
God.
comedic timing.
but
Yeah,
the other
cigar.
characters kind of vague.
Yeah.
Like they're very general, they're very broad. Like,
Uh-huh.
and it's interesting because they keep, at least with the driver in the pink car. Forget what's the
Suki.
actor's name? Suki.
I just know that's her name in the thing.
So the character Suki like has like an avatar on her dashboard.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
They only
mimics
see
her?
once.
we only see once.
We
but-
only see it once, yeah, because I was wondering what that was too. Like,
Yeah. It's so you know how she's feeling in the moment.
Mm.
That's
I
the
think it's for a
only
different
reason.
reason, Nick, and I don't
There is
like.
no
that
other
we're just gonna
reason.
say it. Yeah, there's no other reason.
No other reason. You close your eyes. You're like, that's who that character is.
that character is.
I was watching.
I think it's way worse if I just said yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching the anime girl on her dashboard, and I was like, okay, so we are in some kind of future where there's crazy techno hooks.
No.
And
That's gotta
so
no.
it-
That can exist back then. It's
That's
just not gonna
2000s.
be. It's gonna be like a picture. It's not an AI. Like it's not a fucking VTuber or something. It's just a menu. I don't think it's like
Mhm.
probably program that thing. Computers could be put on dashboards around that time. I think there was a whole Simpsons episode of how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but then I say that, but we still have our fucking grappling claw that
Yeah.
shoots out of cops. Okay, so we don't like the characters as much as the old gang. I think that is like a flaw in this movie for
Yeah.
being a sequel is you don't love them as much. With again Roman being the standout.
Yeah.
And Paul Walker weirdly having scenes where they phoned it in. I would love to know the order they filmed those scenes because I think it does affect. Two, how do we feel about the fashion? Because we talked about it last time.
Nutty.
We thought it
Oh, yeah.
reflected. How do we feel about this? This seems like a lot more of itself, if that makes sense. Like they're
Yeah.
going for it.
This is not referencing reality in any way, shape, or form.
Well, you say that, Ian, but I
Okay.
used to wear Paul Walker's exact outfit all the time,
He sure did.
Okay, wait.
where it's a
okay.
black shirt
Wait,
on board shorts or like fucking
Ian. I thought you knew what's
Dickies.
better.
and then socks and
Okay.
and sneakers, which were maybe Converse or like whatever skate shoes were going on at the time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the 4 other drivers from Race 1 who
Got
come
it.
back
The
and join us.
jumpsuit with Luda.
The jumpsuit, like Luda in his like natural 1970s fro with a big,
Bro.
and he's
With
got
the
like
big brush
4
in it. Yeah,
people
with a big brush in it.
with a big
Yeah,
brush. in it.
Big comb.
He's got like
Sorry.
4 folks behind him wearing matching fabric and jumpsuits.
Yeah.
Like there's that shot where they line them all when the cars line up, the 4 of them, and you just see like, oh, they all got like fans who are dressed in their team colors.
Yeah.
Like there's a
Mhm.
whole section of
Yeah.
red dudes in the crowd. Like, and that felt
So that part's kind of cool because like we're going with the, we're taking this to the next level, right? What if people really are obsessing
yeah.
with street racing?
True.
But the fashion's so wild, especially in that first scene.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
nightclub
yeah.
stuff made sense when they go to it.
Yeah, with that R.
Yeah.
Kelly song and everything.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah.
Was that? I thought that was
Uh,
Shauna.
Oh, was that Shauna?
I thought that was Shauna. I paused the
What?
video at some point and it said Shauna. I went, wow, I haven't listened to Shauna in like forever.
Oh, I think the R. Kelly. The R. Kelly one. I think is the one towards the end. But yeah,
Maybe.
it's not the club then. Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, fashion's cool. Like Tyrese's outfits, I thought were actually really cool. Like him in red,
Tyrese.
he actually looked great. Like with the red.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But you only see it for 10 seconds. It's part of that 10-second scene.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so
Hmm.
so not as much reflective of the fashion from the first as the first. There's a moment where Suki's
Well.
wearing like go-go boots with a fucking weird jersey top, and the outfit
There's-
works. It's just like it's such a weird combination to me that I was like crazy blown away by it. But
Mhm.
There's a scene where she is dressed exactly like Britney Spears from her
That's what
Boys
it
music
was.
video.
Yeah,
She's got like braided
yeah,
hair
she
and a
has the
mini
fucking
skirt.
skirt.
Yeah.
It's weird. 2000s are weird.
Yeah.
Weird time that weren't good, and I
Yeah.
refuse for people to say
Chris
it
wants
was.
to kill the past.
I do. I believe in it, and like,
But that's all you're gonna have is the past.
That's true. Well, if you kill the past, yeah, whatever. Okay, so the action sequences. Let's get to those for the end, and then we'll talk about like our favorite scenes.
Okay.
Mm.
How'd you all feel about the big? Oh shit! There is one more scene I want to talk about, the rat scene, because you mentioned how we
Dude.
knew about that before. How was that for you, Ian?
Man.
That it was so weird because I don't remember watching the movie, but I definitely feel like the rat like being forced to chew through a man is a thing I've thought about. Maybe Brave New World, or not Brave New World.
Maybe.
1984, I think, has the
Oh, maybe.
man getting a rat through a room, I think. But I do remember thinking like, oh my god, are we gonna really watch this happen? I mean, we've already crushed a man to death, so I believe the movie threat.
Yeah, this is the era of scenes where like it can't be bloody, but it makes it worse. Kind of like movie scenes when it happens. So like Tuxedo, I'm thinking about with the mosquito eating Mr. Bean from the inside. The Medallion, where he's like, and then the Mummy with the Beatles.
Oh yeah, the
right?
horrible scarabs under people's skin. Yeah, freaked me out as a kid, real bad.
But it's still PG-13, like because it's not gory per se.
No,
it's
there's
like
just
body
like
horror. Like
yes.
Weird. It's like, oh, okay, you know what? Well, here's a more contemporary example. The remake of RoboCop, where they show what the rest of him is way more horrifying than anything in RoboCop.
Yeah,
it's so fucking crazy the way they do it. It's nightmare.
Horrible. Yeah,
it's like the best scene in that movie because it's like that is sci-fi horror, and it's like peak.
And having the actor like I think he totally nailed like that emotion of the scene where you just see him saying, "Oh God, there's nothing left. There's nothing left of me."
Yeah,
this is what you are. This is all you need to be alive.
The hand,
man. At the moment,
it's fucked up. In the moment, yeah, it's just, man,
so fucked. So it reminds me of that, right?
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't think it's as bad as I remember it being as a child. But the lead up to it is pretty good. I think they shoot that well.
Yes.
Because it is horrifying. It is like, wow, that is a torture. Like that you were going to want.
Well, every time that they cut to the rat, you just kind of tense up, thinking, "Oh God, don't show me the rat entering him."
Yeah. And then the actual cuts aren't that bad, so it looks like he just like scratched or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, so the action scenes at the end with the big cop chase.
Yes.
The fucking
down the keys.
Dukes of Hazzard, the scramble.
Yes.
So that is something this movie definitely has over the first one. Is the scale is way bigger, and it's fucking impressive.
Oh yeah.
Especially that cop chase.
It's how many cars do you guys think? 15? 12?
No,
15?
I don't. Yeah, maybe
What?
15, 20.
It was like 20.
It was
30.
so much to the point where it's like we have a thing where like cars are just crashing at every turn.
Yeah.
And there are shots where it's like if you take like a look at the cop cars, they obviously are going slow. Because they have so many drivers like stuntmen.
Yes.
Just working it.
Yeah.
And but so then they'll do other shoots with like a smaller amount of cars to make them look like they're going fast. So it was pretty smartly shot on that sense.
Yeah.
It's super impressive, man. How many fucking cop
Mhm.
cars they have on that thing?
Yeah.
Chase. That is
Yeah.
like that is something this movie did have over. Like it definitely has a higher budget, and
Yes.
they're shooting, and the scale of things is way bigger, right?
And I think a part of that budget we see kind of like dispersed throughout. We talked about how the Fast and the Furious starts out really quickly and doesn't
Yeah.
really explain anything till the first half hour is over.
Yeah.
I think this movie it does kind of want to follow through on, okay, it's the sequel. You're gonna get more car racing. We're gonna
And you do.
you do, and so this build up, I think it works really well for as a payoff, as you say, for the
Yeah.
references to the first race, but also just kind of putting the cherry on top and saying, yeah, we're gonna fuck up like 20 cop cars all at once.
You're gonna see a
Yeah.
bunch of like crashes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It very much screams like, yeah, we know you want to see crashes. This is what we're gonna do, and in fact, have a demolition derby scene, right?
Yep.
So I think it's smart in that sense. It is
Yeah.
giving people what they want.
Yeah.
And then the scramble, right? Like from the garage where all those cars come out is another just holy fucking shit. That's impressive. It's crazy that there aren't more crashes on the screen than what's happening.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
would love to know the choreography for that. Right? I want to know the
Yeah.
story of that. Just cars unloading out of a garage.
It is a sight to behold. It's a beautiful,
It's like I think the best part of that movie. Like it's the most like it's I think the most impressive thing in the movie. Is that
Yeah.
shot, right?
It's the most technically beautiful. Yeah, it's like this movie is a showcase of car moments, and that is the moment we've earned. We've built up to that, and
Yes.
it's a payoff. Yeah, definitely.
So it's crazy how that shot. And then of course the Dukes of Hazzard jump.
Yeah.
The scramble with all the cars being a reference to how people are scrambling when the cops show up.
Yes.
And are now making the cops confused
Yes.
from the first race. And then the Dukes of Hazzard jumping, of course, we're gonna jump a car.
Yeah.
To it. And it's a good shot. It's a classic shot. It works. It lands on that boat. And it's like holy shit.
Well, and that I think I was thinking about that stunt and how, and maybe I'm thinking too hard. Tell me what you guys think. But like,
Never.
So in this movie, we really are more fantastical. We're less grounded. So like when the guy in the gold car in the very first race spins out, crashes, he just stands up and is like, "Oh no, my back and car!"
Yeah, my back.
Rather than dying.
Rather than Vin Diesel like pulling himself out of the wreckage.
Exactly. We didn't really get a moment like that. Whereas like I feel like the tonal difference is like, if this movie was more like the first movie, they would have pulled the Dukes of Hazzard stunt, crash on the boat, and then immediately they'd be like, "My legs are both broken.
Yeah,
we need help."
So that is something I wanted to get into, is like a little bit, is as much as there's some crazy good spectacle in this movie, I don't think any of the sequences still top the truck heist at the end of the first movie. That truck heist is like legitimately great.
Yes.
Like, especially with the rest of the movie, you're not expecting that for how good everything plays out. It's a payoff of not just stunts, but like characters and where they're at the moment, and who they're like, how their relationships are at.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
awesome.
It comes back to these characters falling short. I'm not as like. I mean, I wouldn't enjoy it, but if they ended up killing Red Car Guy or like one of the other characters, I don't really like. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know, like
Roman would have been the only one. I'm like, well.
Oh, that's messed up. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Yeah,
and the other thing would be, I do think it would be kind of jarring if this movie suddenly had a moment like the end of The Fast and the Furious, where it's like he's lacerated all of his limbs in garrote wire. You know. Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. So that is something I would
Yeah.
say about knocks it down for me from the first one.
Mhm.
Is there any more scenes y'all want to talk about before we get into what we thought? Like, what did we get out of this movie?
Mhm.
Because we already kind
No.
of touched. Me and Ian kind of touched upon it, but like, what I at least got. Nick, any other scenes? Ejectocito being the jape of the season.
It sure is, man. It's honestly the only part that really meant no. I
It
think
is a crazy shot when it happens. Like,
yeah, it is. I think like from a I guess I'm trying to think like who was the main villains in the first one.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I think
Gray,
Gray. Yeah,
because
I
you're
think the
falling in love with the villains.
and then yeah, you fall in love.
Yeah,
But maybe that's what that was cool about first one was that it wasn't really like a set villain. There wasn't like a. I mean, there's a bunch of gangs for sure. Like you have the
Chinese mafia were like the most
Mafia.
kind of like sort of
Yeah.
evil,
yeah,
but like as we kind of talked about in the last movie, other than like making like leading to the death of Jesse,
mhm.
they're not
Not
that
as
big of a
present.
deal. Yeah, they're not as
Yeah.
present as you would think they're going to be, especially from the beginning.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
mean, like-
whereas this has a central villain,
Yes.
the dude.
Yes.
and
And he's all right.
definitely-
He has presence. He's got like a presence that's like, yeah,
Yeah.
don't fuck with that guy.
Yeah,
But I
I
don't
believe
know.
he's a bad guy. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
convinced he's bad.
But
I
I'm
don't know.
convinced that Eva
he's a
needs
nice
some
guy.
help.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
I don't know.
But
Yeah, I don't know.
That's all I could say on that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we kind of touched everything.
Yeah, I'm not as big. I think I'm with you, Nick. I'm not as big on this villain. Because again, the whole thing with the last one is that maybe the villains are kind of just the cops if you need like a hard villain.
Yeah.
But the real shit is just the gray area that comes from these people living this lifestyle
hmm
and like understanding where they're at.
It's
In this
It's
movie,
interesting,
not real life,
'cause-
but I mean in this movie, in the first movie
when I was thinking about the torture scene from the first movie
with the oil.
with the oil,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's not as interesting an idea as the rat,
yeah.
but it maybe more effective as like a torture scene for me, just in that
it looks way
I-
more visceral.
it looks way more visceral, and the other part was I'm kind of keyed into the people a little bit more. I was a little bit more
Mm.
keyed into those to the crocodile pants gangsters
Yeah,
than
the
Yeah.
Benjamin Pants.
this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the rat scene. The rat scene, what's really selling him is the dude being tortured.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
who's what's selling that like scene altogether. If
Agreed.
that dude wasn't acting that well, like
Mhm.
you're just staring at a bucket on a dude. What's that?
Yes. Yes.
Versus
I-
watching oil being poured down like a man's.
That was
like,
brutal, man. That
Yeah,
was
it's
Waterboarding
so
that
crazy.
dude. Yeah.
waterboarding with oil. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's it for the scenes. I believe that I can think.
Mhm.
Unless anyone's got one last one before we. No?
Nope.
Okay, so then we get to falling action,
Ooh.
which is takeaways. What did we think? What did we get out of it? What we get? Yeah. What did you get? What did you all get out of it? What did you think?
I
You,
got a fun
what'd you think?
racing. I got a fun racing movie out of it.
You got a fun.
Yeah.
I was entertained.
It was entertaining.
You cannot say you weren't. There are impressive sequences in this movie to the point where you're just like, wow, how the fuck did they do that? Like that's
Mhm.
yeah. If we're just going off of like review base,
Mhm.
or comparing it to the first one, which you have to because it's Too
Yeah.
Fast, Too Furious,
Yes.
and as opposed to The Fast and the Furious, which
Mhm.
yeah, I don't like it as much as the first one.
Yeah.
Granted, I realize that the first movie is very much more of a classic, like dirty cop corrupt movie,
Yes.
and maybe I'm just a sucker for the classics and
Mhm.
when it's done.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I don't think anything tops that truck sequence at the end.
Yeah.
That scramble with the cars at the end though gets pretty close in a
Yeah.
different way. But that whole sequence with the truck is like that's why you watch the movie. That's why you watch everything up to that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the characters are stronger in you get a lot more time with them and you like them a lot more. You get to know them.
Yeah.
In the first movie. Roman, of course, being a real standout in the second one. I like Paul Walker's performance better in the first one.
Yeah.
Although he's got moments in the second one, but like, I don't know, it feels weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just like review based for me. My takeaway was that thing we were talking about with Roman is that you can't go at it alone. It's the only way to actually correct your sins or something. Like it's better off to be surrounded by people and to be working with people. That's going to get you out of holes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that's how we kind of learn with not just Roman, but Eva Mendes, who's been working at it alone for almost a year and isn't able to get out. But also, she gets a little hedgehog's dilemma where like getting to know someone like causes her pain.
Yes.
And almost gets her killed.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's what pulls her out and ends the sequence. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I got out of it. If I had to go with what do I think the movie's trying to tell me?
Okay.
I like that first movie better. That's my thing. I was quite shocked that I liked the first one as much as I did. Like, yeah, that would be what I got out of it. How about y'all? Let's go with Nick.
You know what? I'm with you on the first one of like it being overall more grounded and have like more of an interesting like character dynamics happening. I don't know. I do, but I get it. I get why like 2 is still like one of the most marijuana. This is literally like right when it takes off. Like merchandise and crazy everything.
100%. I mean, like my family was watching this movie.
Yeah.
This might be an old-fashioned kind of sentence to say. I think this franchise also had Taco Bell cups, or those
probably
those collectible cups.
Yeah,
that you get. Yeah,
that's when you know you made it.
yeah.
Batman and Robin had it. The Pokemon movie,
Lord of the Rings,
had them. Yeah, Lord of the Rings. That's true. That's fine.
When your grandma collects cups of these,
dude, we used to have those Batman cups, and I don't know where they're at, and I'm so mad. I don't know.
Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah.
Oh dang.
Yep.
We used to have those. We used to have those. I think we had the Pokemon stuff or the Disney Square rectangle cups. I don't know what the fuck. They're now worth a lot of money. That's the only reason I care.
Yeah, we used to have those all the time. Little did we know.
Little did we know.
Little did we know. I've written whole papers on Little Did We Know.
Little did we know. Little did we know. But yeah, sorry, Nick. What'd you get out of it? What?
I got a good action movie out of it.
Oh, that's good, okay. Like... Sorry, that was your thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Fair enough, dude. It is like if you're going in for a popcorn movie, this is a popcorn movie. Like
this is it. Yeah.
You're watching spectacles, and the spectacles are really interesting. Like, if you're just into how movies are made, like, how the fuck they do that car scramble? That's crazy.
That is a good question.
So thinking about what I took away from it, I agree with you guys. I think it's a damn good B+ popcorn kind of flick that you can sit down, have a fine time watching. I really liked what you guys said about the character aspect of it. Tell me what you guys think about this one. One thought I've been turning over, which is, what is it about the movie that doesn't totally work in the way that the first one worked for us? And I think a part of it is you can do something that's different and experimental and kind of in a new path. The thing is, the first movie was, as you say, like a dirty cop story.
Yeah.
And in that kind of classic mold. This movie is definitely on the side of the police are a hindrance to what we need to be doing in every single stage.
Yeah, and the
Basically.
FBI is the
Hmm.
or not even the FBI. You have to go rogue somehow, but you still work with the cops.
Exactly. You have to technically work with the cops, but technically the cops are either old dudes who should retire, and he wears his
Yep.
silly Hawaiian shirt at work
Yeah,
because it was his day off.
it's so weird. That seems so weird to me. That must have. I'm gonna take a wild guess, and not knowing anything about the production of the movie,
Mhm.
that that dude actually wasn't supposed to be there, or like refused to wear like a uniform.
Yeah.
Because he's wearing one in every scene in the first movie.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm starting to, now that we're like talking about it, I'm starting to get like a resentment to this movie that it exists. But they were probably paid a fuck ton of money.
I think that a lot of our gripes with this movie can be explained away with the studio said, bring him back in for a Sunday shoot. We're gonna do a
do
5-hour
no
shoot. We're gonna pick this
audience
up.
didn't get it. The audience didn't understand.
And Paul Walker is like, "Fuck this! I don't show me the rewrite. Just write it down. And I'll
Yeah,
read it."
fucking
Yeah.
no. I mean, so yeah, no. I agree. I think the writing's weaker.
Yeah.
There's obviously things I talked about with Nick. There's scenes where I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's a punch up. Like, I think the whole thing with the cigar cutter was a punch up from the
Oh, yeah.
get-go, someone saying no, because that is something I would do.
Mhm.
If I had to find something up, let's have a recurring bit. It's gonna be funny, and it is. It works, and
Yeah.
like, so I think there. It feels like that's what makes me go like this was probably like a cash grab, like
Mhm.
at the end. But
Yeah.
there are especially the director's like thing here. There are shots that are really good and sequences that
Yeah.
are really interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I do, the writing is a little weaker. It's a little bit weak because they're doing stuff that's similar to the first movie, but they're not.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
the cops, they're working with the cops at the end versus running away.
Yeah.
And this can end with, and then they went to start a car shop together. That's it. That's what
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah, and I think the worst thing of it all is that Ja Rule's not there.
I also think that.
Yeah. Ja
You
Rule.
don't
Ja
get Ja
Rule.
Rule's line read.
Ja Rule.
Really
got
a
in
hindrance.
trouble, you know. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, and I think it has to do with that. I think you're right, Ian. Like, because it's not just the characters, even though that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a very big deal. But there are these little things.
Where-
That the more you think about it, you're like, yeah, this was probably a troubled shoot. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially if it only came out 2 years after, and then 1 year after Baby Boy.
Mhm.
So
I mean, this
Oh, wow.
definitely is a fast track. This is something
yeah,
that
they got this movie out.
Yeah.
They sure fucking did. It was on
Yeah.
a thing.
Mhm.
They pumped that thing out.
I mean, I'm grateful. If you listen to our last episode, this will make sense. I'm grateful we didn't go back to the race war. I'm grateful we didn't do that again.
It's
Remember
so
that.
fucking funny that whenever they say it like 2 or 3 times in that movie, and it's hilarious.
We're gonna go to race
Paul, you gonna help me out with this race war
This
happening?
race war. Paul, you're gonna
You gonna join me on this race war?
Paul, you're gonna give me.
Oh.
I gotta come up with a good Vin Diesel at some point. Okay, so that's what we got. All right.
Yeah.
So that's how we're feeling. Feel good? Any last
Yeah.
words about Too Fast, Too Furious?
I'm legitimately excited to watch
The next one?
Tokyo Drift next. Like I know
you
it's gonna be
haven't watched Tokyo Drift. That's the one me and Nick have watched the most.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I
it's
cannot wait.
That's gonna be
I-
fun.
yeah. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
I won't. So now I won't even say anything about Tokyo Drift when we do it.
Okay.
You can expect Tokyo Drift on the 15th of April.
Mhm.
Those listening. So we will come back with that, with of course the end of March being a different episode. But before we go, we must do the denouement, which is
Mhm.
any recommendations if you like this movie, or any recommendations from what we talked about.
Mm.
I'll do a quick one that's off the top of my head. We can come back to me later. I hadn't really thought about this. I should have, even though I'm the host. Go watch Dukes of Hazzard, or at least some of
Oh,
those
yeah.
scenes from the show. it's a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
However, a lot of things haven't aged well. As with no shit came out. There is a big old Confederate flag on the Daisy Duke, and but that car that shot is iconic for like a reason.
And that horn is iconic at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Nick?
I would like to recommend to anyone that has seen both the first and Too Fast, Too Furious to check out the deleted scenes on YouTube. There's a lot of deleted scenes and content that was cut from the film. And I would say that, and then you know what? Just for the sake of it, check out the Act a Fool music video.
Yeah.
You get the full experience.
Hell yeah.
And my final one would be, you know what? You like these CG cars racing? Well, I gotta tell you, they all came from one show.
Oh.
It's Initial D.
Oh, yeah.
And that will lead on to Tokyo Drift.
Just Tokyo Drift, yeah.
Okay.
Something we'll talk about once we get to that movie.
Go watch Initial D.
Yes.
Ian, any recommendations?
Yeah. I've got two at top of mind. One is one of my favorite driving movies.
Okay.
It's
Drive Angry.
It's not. No, it's 1970s. It's Smokey and the Bandit. It's a good movie.
Smokey.
It stars Burt Reynolds and the mom from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, the Smokey and the Bandit is really good.
It's a real good movie, guys.
It's real good shit. It is a classic for a reason.
It's a classic for a reason. It's such an easy watch for me. Like I can turn it on, and it's one of those movies that, like, if I catch it even partway through, I'm like, I'll finish it.
Yeah,
this is a good. I love it.
It's a good sequence. Oh yeah.
A great movie with stunts and tricks and big rigs and a fine driving time. Spectacle. And great dialogue. A great written.
Yeah, everyone's really cool. Like in that movie, every line's like
70s hot and 70s cool.
They're cool, man.
Yeah. And they got a basset hound.
They're the real Cat's pajamas. I'll tell you what.
And also the idea that he's like running alcohol to dry counties, he's like automatically cool. Like
automatically cool, you guys. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, if you're out there and you're trying to be cool, go take alcohol to dry counties.
Well, the people of Pennsylvania need your help.
Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I can safely say that you should totally you should not do that so I don't get in trouble. I am not advocating for that. That was a joke.
It was a gag. It was a goof.
That's just for the safety of cutting. Yeah. In case they need that in law. But nope, do not mean that, I guess.
Yeah.
But you want to be really cool, kids? You should do cigarettes. I think cigarettes are great.
You know who's
don't
really
do cigarettes,
cool?
kids. You shouldn't smoke.
Kids, have you seen that baby from Indonesia that smokes menthols? He's the coolest baby I've ever seen.
Go baby, go baby, go.
Smokey and the Bandit's really good. The director also did Boys in the Hood, and I think we should jump out of this before my future court case uses this against me.
One last recommendation: if you did really like Too Fast, Too Furious, guys, this is for a specific strain of people. Not everybody will feel the same, but if you liked how hyper produced this movie is, try the Wachowskis' adaptation of Speed Racer.
Oh yeah, I still gotta watch that. I have that on the list for us.
It's
I've never watched it.
Have you seen it?
No, I've never watched it.
Oh my!
Which is insane because I watched like so much of the original as a kid.
That is insane.
And that movie and that series is weird.
That movie
for a child.
That movie. Ooh boy. We gotta watch that one. That's a good one, actually. Yeah.
The constant thing of the Wachowski twins.
Yeah.
Are they good or not?
I
would argue yes.
Did you like The Matrix?
I did like The Matrix.
All right, then there you go.
And I did think Sense8 was mostly good. I liked a lot of it.
Did you like them in Path
We have
of
a friend
Neo,
who
the
really,
game,
who
Chris?
they really like that. Set. They really love since.
Did you like them in Path of Neo, the game on the PS2 towards the end?
Yeah,
Where both of them told
go
you how the
fight.
boss was going to end?
Yeah.
How about Jupiter Rising? Did you like that dog
I
lover?
still never watched Jupiter Rising. Did you watch? That's the one with fucking Tom Hanks, right? And
No, that's Cloud Atlas.
no, Cloud Atlas.
That's Cloud
that's
Atlas.
where,
What the fuck's
that's where
Jupiter
he.
Rising then?
It's Mila Kunis and
Jupiter-
Channing Tatum, and Mila Kunis is the emperor of the universe, and Channing Tatum is her dog man lover.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'll do that thing where I watch all the like a director's thing, and then be like, yeah, do I like this? Do I like these directors or not? Like,
oh, you meant Jupiter Ascending.
Jupiter Ascending. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I still don't know. I don't know why.
Jupiter Rising is the book.
But yeah, well, Speed Racer's on here for some point. Okay. I think that does it, y'all. I want to go eat. I'm hungry. All right. Oh, go
That's
ahead.
another one in the books.
I was about to say, is that a reference to Too Fast and Furious because hungry?
Oh yeah, because
so
he's eating all
hungry.
the time. I'm so hungry.
We're hungry.
Jail.
He's hungry for life, you guys.
We're
It's not
hungry.
just food. Yeah.
He really is like probably the best character in that movie. So,
Yeah, he's gonna like actual layers, guys. Like,
it's
yeah,
like, you know,
yeah.
he's like the saving grace in that movie.
Yeah.
In terms of characters. All right.
Yeah.
Catch y'all next time. The next movie I'm gonna decide soon. I'm actually gonna talk with Ian and Nick right now, and hopefully we can announce it soon. Okay.
Right.
So, good night, goodbye, and
Good luck.
so long. Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.